Naruto is such an amazing anime. My favorite game? Other. Definitely not GTA. Itachi would be this. He would be very disappointed. It was good.
In that courtroom. He was found guilty and sentenced to 46 years to life in prison. Several questioned about the defendant's motivation about asking that question. He was big guy, but definitely not the sharpest knife in the drawer. My personal take was he tried to ask. Be questioned by the person you said / accused raped you? And flubbed it. I was talking to a seasoned defense attorney about this story and some others. His take on it was some defendants, for whatever reason, commit suicide by court. What's the worst defense you've seen someone make in court?
Wonder what kind of trouble Shocker's into this time.
Ray thought the world was ending and that we would not have enough food. Right now, and he got mad at me over a game.
Damn.
He's on my boyfriend?
Yeah. What?
Bravo.
Tell him I said he's bugging out. She's about to get a new man.
Men are disgusting. Hold on, how old are you? Stick with him. Don't think I'm free.
Now, regulation. Oh!
The U.S. Coast Guard is dropping food and water for these Cuban migrants. However, it's already too late for them, but it's not what you think. For over 2 decades, the United States relied on wet feet, dry feet policy. That is, if Cuban migrants were intercepted at sea wet feet, they would be deported. But if they made it to shore dry feet, they would qualify for legal permanent resident status. Cubans were eager to step foot on American soil at all costs. One time, the Coast Guard used pepper spray and water cannons to prevent 6 Cubans from reaching the beach and claiming dry feet status. Another time, the Coast Guard decided to bring to shore a 6-year-old boy and 2 other survivors rescued, even though they had wet feet. In 2006, 15 Cubans climbed onto a piling of the old 7-mile bridge at Florida Keys that was disconnected from land. The Coast Guard ended up deporting them, although a federal judge reversed that decision later that year, and 14 of those 15 Cubans were given migrant visas. In 2017, President Obama ended the wet feet, dry feet policy, so now any Cubans coming to the U.S. illegally are subject to removal. The U.S. Coast Guard...
Smoke Maloney? Here we go. This recipe was sent to me by one of my customers. I'll do some half-inch scores all the way around. Alright, so we got our scores in. Now let's go around with it. Like so. Now let's make our honey mustard. This recipe's super easy, all half honey, real honey. The other half is yellow mustard. Spicy Dano time. Just pop that trigger finger about 3, 4, 5 good times. 6 or 7. And just mix that up. Our consistency's a little runny, so the trick is thickening it up with more Danos. Mix it. There's that pasty consistency. Pour it right over the top. Get it nice and basted. Throw that bad boy on. Smoked bologna. Here we go. This recipe was sent to me by one of my customers. I'll do some.
Oh, I have this card. I have this card, and I've done this exact same thing. He did an Ultra 6000 summer salt and...
Girl, calm down. You know she ain't got food at home. Yeah, and apparently not a damn shower either. Shit. Single file line, everyone. Single file line. I will single file line my foot up your ass if you don't move. It's cool. Let the ladies go first. The real men will eat last. If the ladies is going first, why ain't your ass up there? Wow, Ayama, you have a pretty goofy laugh. Bitch, shut the fuck up and go pay your phone bill. Manetta, why did you bring that big piece of plastic with Geku's face on it? Don't worry about it. I am here, and I've brought cake. Girl, the only cake I want is a piece of this cake. Come on, man. Tokogami! Deku, can you calm down and stop being annoying? You know what, Todoroki? You should have said that same shit to your mom when she gave you that face guard. This food tastes like shit. Bakugo, no. You're eating the natural.
I made a new friend. His name is Ranboo. I saw him streaming yesterday, and so I went and checked out his stream, and I saw that he was playing Mario Party by himself. And I was like, does this bitch want some friends? Like, what? So I messaged Saikuno, was like, do you know Ranboo? I saw him playing Mario Party by himself. Maybe we should ask him to play Mario Party sometime. And Saikuno was like, okay. So I messaged him and I said, hey, if you ever want to play Mario Party with Saikuno and I, you're more than welcome to. I saw you playing by yourself. And he actually, I was so surprised he said yes, and he was so excited. He said, yes, absolutely, I would be down. And it's great to meet you as well. He said, I would absolutely love to play with you guys. I've been meaning to send a message for the longest time. And now here we are.
The U.S. printing a $1 trillion coin could actually save the world from a serious financial disaster. As absurd as that sounds, the $1 trillion coin solution has been floated as a way to stop the U.S. from defaulting on its debt. And if the U.S. defaults on its debt, it would not only have serious ramifications for the U.S., but the flow-on effects would obviously impact the whole world. If the coin is minted and sits in the bank, its value would be added to the Treasury's general account and can be used for the country's bills. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has...
Normally, if you mix dye together in water, it looks like this. You can't unmix it. So now I'm putting the dye in corn syrup. And each color of the dye, I'm putting it a little bit different radius away from the center. Okay, and now blue. Okay, let's give it a turn and see what it looks like. So as I turn the inner cylinder, the layers of corn syrup shear past each other at different rates. The ones close to the center are moving faster than the ones close to the outer edge. And because the shearing of the fluids is very controlled, you can actually just reverse the movement and they go back to their original position. Okay, here we go. Reverse it and it's back to the original color line. So you can see I completely reversed the mixing. It's awesome. Normally, if you mix dye together in water, it looks like this. You can't unmix it. So now I'm putting the dye in corn syrup. And each color of the dye, I'm putting it a little bit different radius away from the center.
Military member of Reddit. What is the most embarrassing this guy won't make it through basics story you have? This guy not only made it through basics, he somehow got himself deployed to Afghanistan too. I have no idea how he did it. He was the laziest loser I have met in my life. When we first arrived at camp, we were put in rooms of 4 people, and the whole first month he slept in his sleeping bag because he didn't want to bother with having to change his sheets, or he didn't know how to. Now Afghanistan during summer is freezing hot, and this guy never showered. So you can imagine the smell of that sleeping bag. Our squad leader literally had to sit down with him and explain the importance of hygiene and being close with other people. Diseases spread like wildfire when they first arrived. He'd also put his used chewing tobacco under his pillow when he finished. One day me and the other two guys were so fed up with his stank. One of us dragged him to the showers while the two of us